Okay, now, if this is how we begin, just stay around, stick around to see how we end. It's just going to get better. Now, of course, we understand that every single person here has the skills, the capacity, the power, the soft power, the major power to impact, change, create development, create well-being for people around the world. But here today, we're talking about Portugal and India. And there could be no better group of people than all of us together working and rowing in the same direction to create impact in both of these countries. We have so much in common. We've reached out and touched each other across the oceans. We have values in common. We have connection through culture, and we have connection through history. There is nothing more natural than having connection through business as an extension of that. Today, we're going to learn a little bit more about each other through our amazing speakers, through our president, through our vice president. And today is the time to learn that we exist. Then we move on to the next step in the next forums. So today, let's talk and let's get kind of open the window into two very, very interesting, very dynamic countries with people representing both culture and both business arenas. So thank you all to my wonderful, wonderful speakers for being here today, who generously gave of their time and will now give us of their wisdom. We can never be grateful enough. We owe you in the future. So thank you again. So without further ado, I'm going to pass the floor, in this case, the screen, to the boss. And boy, is this woman bossy. She is just general in command, okay? I keep saying that, I tease her a lot, but I really see her bossiness as being a great leader. She is an absolute serial activist. She is the president of WICCI Portugal-India. She was the first woman CEO of an airline company. She founded Hera. And of course, not satisfied with that, she's building a city to celebrate women. I mean, for goodness sake, we want equal pay. She wants to build a city. Nothing can be more major than that. She, of course, no less, Marianela, she's also passionate about women's rights. She's passionate about sustainability. She is the true definition of an obsessive activist. And I am so proud to know her, and I'm so proud to introduce her here today. So, Marianela, the screen is yours. It's your voice. You're the boss. You're the president. The floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Linda. Well, why did I guess that you were going to say that I'm bossy? Tell me. Anyhow, I admit, I am a little bit bossy, but sometimes it has to be. So welcome everyone to this forum and to the launch of the Portugal chapter of WICCI, the Women's Chamber of Commerce and Industry. Thank you very much, Harbin Aurora, International President of WICCI, for the invitation to create the Portugal branch and for trusting in me and in my work for women and humanity. Thank you to my board members in WICCI, these wonderful ladies who are supporting me in this mission. Today, we are officially launching WICCI in Portugal, but my board members and myself are working hard for many months, building a strategy for this chamber in order that it actually becomes a plus value between Portugal and India in commercial relations. This is the first of many forums. Today, we have more than 150 people registered. In the future, I hope this number increases more and more as our action starts in the field. To talk about WICCI and the women, I cannot avoid saying some words about Hera. How do you go from entrepreneur to philanthropist? That's a question I often hear. In fact, I have dedicated most of my life, my business, in business activities, mainly in aviation and services. In early 2000, as Linda said, I discovered that I was the only woman in the world being a CEO of an aviation company. And that made me question the role of women in society and in the road. I decided immediately that something had to be done. And it was when I started an initiative which would later become HERA, the Light of Women. Throughout the years, I gathered some influential opinion leaders, women and men, debated some important issues related to gender equality, and took actions, first as an informal movement, but with a firm decision that something bigger would come out of it. In 2019, I have decided to legally incorporate this movement and created an NGO, HERA Association, fully dedicated to supporting women in science, technology, culture, and education, promoting entrepreneurship and innovation. The principles of HERA and WICCI meet at a certain point, and this is why Harbin Arora knew that I would be able to play a role of president of WICCI in my country. I immediately invited a group of wonderful women to be part of our Portugal board. All are eager to take action, both in Portugal and in India. And let me tell you about WICCI finally. WICCI is a non-profit institution dedicated to uplifting women with an aligned mission to HERA. It intends to tighten the commercial links between Portugal and India with the purpose of supporting and helping women in their careers and businesses. COVID prevented us from launching our Portugal chapter as we expected. But as always, we never gave up and were determined to move forward. And so here we are. In this forum, we have invited some VIP guests from Portugal and India who will share their success stories. Like I said, other forums will come with diverse and interesting topics and issues and guests. And we invite you all to stay tuned. And as life goes back to normal after this COVID crisis, it is our intention to be dynamic and stay active, to invite delegations from India to visit Portugal and vice versa. There will be plenty of opportunities in commerce, real estate, industry, science and technology, and many other fields. We wish to make WICCI Portugal an institution that will in fact make things happen and to help women in entrepreneurship and create innovation in various fields. Being the president in Portugal, I chose a vice president from India, Sangeet Ahir, my very good friend, a woman I very much admire, a businesswoman who is very well known in her country for their work in film production and philanthropic action. So thank you very much for your attention and for being here with us today. Back to you, Linda.
Thank you so much. I clicked, but I didn't click well enough. Technology is always right. Okay, so obviously, I'm surrounded by women with a voice of command. And of course, I'm in awe of Sangeeta because she is like a little volcano. Okay, she is a Bollywood filmmaker and distributor. She's a committed activist and a social worker. She's a woman of determination, and she focuses on an objective like she's on steroids. She's a true inspiration. When she decides to do it, it gets done. Thank you, Sangeeta, for joining us, for being part of our world, and the screen is yours. You are most welcome. Microphone. The same as me. We click, but we don't click well enough. Okay.
Right. Okay.
Okay,
Thank you.
perfect.
Thank you so much. I take this opportunity to thank Marianela, the president, and Dr. Harveen Arora, the International President of WICCI, for inviting me to be the chapter of Indian-Portugal, togetherness and building it together. As a woman, my journey has its shares of ups and downs, and I never lost the focus. I strongly believe that as a woman, one has to juggle between their domestic lives and work front. I admit it has been challenging, but it never crossed my mind ever to give up. I focused on my creativity and transformed my views and efforts into success. Fashion and styling comes naturally to me due to my creative personality, which is an integral part of my being. The world of filmmaking, which is an integral part of my life, is often referred to a man's world. I haven't had on easy pass back. I have faced every hurdle that comes, every struggle. My agenda, making a film, was very clear: to bring the audience stress-free moments and provide entertainment and deliver a social message at the same time, thus making a blockbuster success. All across the world where women stand, given the opportunities, at one end, freedom has been accorded to us, and at other end, there is no education. Faced with new generation challenges, digital and technological challenges, a phone has just been thrust in the hand, and yet there is a dearth of books made available. Women are given lesser opportunities. The social work I do is contribute to the society by feeling responsible to share the journey of who I am, and for thousands of out there who dare to dream. The work I do through my charitable organization is unlimited, as love has no boundaries, and I love giving back to the society as it got me where I am. In the globalized world in which we live, no country can achieve balance, sustainable development in isolation. Both India and Portugal believe in multilateral actions and political dialogues as the only route to harmonious coexistence between nations and people. The diversity and incredible potential of our bilateral ties with Portugal are also reflected in our economic relationships. The latest available numbers show that there is a mutual and increased interest of Portuguese and Indian companies in investment and export opportunity in both countries. Portugal has been a champion of closer ties between India and the EU and of the strategic partnership and unties us. It was during the Portuguese presidency of the EU in 2000 that the first ever EU-Indian summit was held. This is a paradigm where cherish and hope to build on. Because of us, it's clear that both sides stand to gain in furthering a relationship based on the shared values of democracy, rule and law, respect for human rights, commitment to the rules based on global order, effective multilateralism, and sustainable development. We see many areas where bilateral cooperation can increase and be developed further, and where there is a shared interest of working together. I therefore even feel that the Golden Visa program that we discussed will help in furthering contacts between businessmen, as they are the true force being our growing economy relationships, in identifying sectors where investments can grow and prosper. I am sure that all participants and stakeholders will profit from that opportunity to further strengthen our economic relationships. Portugal is home to a large community of Indian origins. They are fully integrated into Portuguese society and have made a very significant contribution to this country and its economy. As a member of the EU, currently one of India's main trading partners, Portugal is also a platform access to consolidate market of 500 million consumers. We may therefore take advantage of the extended political relations between our countries, of an adequate network of agreements and protocols in several areas, and of the will of the political and economical and cultural agents to push our relationship further. To improve and strengthen the bilateral relationships between India, one opens up its doors to Indian for education. Portugal can provide scholarships, especially in the social science stream, to establish stronger cultural links. Portugal can start short-term fellowship programs for Indians on the line of the US State Department's fellowships. This can involve not just Goa, but other nations of the world. 3, the Portuguese language in Goa has declined steadily over the years. It can help if Portugal could boost Centro de Língua Portuguese in Goa and tie up with the other schools and colleges for this purpose. At an Outlook with Marianela has brought to the core that good work needs no boundaries, no language, no protocol. When two hands meet, they become a fist, and together we are ready to spread the word of Hera and WICCI to the world. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Sangeeta. Wonderful. Thank you very much. And we're all committed and we're all passionate, as is our board. And this is, as I say, the beginning, but we're already planning, right, Marianela? We're already planning the next steps. Okay, now, again, we have another lady taking over the panel, and we're going to have an interesting panel about investing in Portugal and India. This is a taste of what we can do, because of course we're limited in time in an online event. When we move to our live events, we will be able to delve deeper into what the opportunities available. But what my job here is to introduce you to your moderator. And your moderator is an amazing lady called Alexandra Bonte, who has just switched on her camera. And Alexandra runs a venture capital fund in Portugal focused on high-end residential real estate. And she's a co-founder of a boutique luxury real estate agency. She's extremely dynamic and matter of fact in her dealings, and she is the perfect person to moderate this panel. So welcome to her speakers, whom she will introduce, and let's move into our panel, Investing in Portugal and India. And please enjoy, and if you have any questions, don't hesitate to put them in the chat and I will monitor. And if we don't answer them now, I promise that we will follow up with answers, okay? So, Alexandra, the screen is all yours and I'm going to disappear.
Hello, everyone. First of all, it's an honor for you to have me here. And this is a really very touching subject and it's wonderful. I think that we can do very much if we put our minds together. If there is will, there is a way. And I do believe with this amazing panel of women that a lot is going to come from this. So may this be the first of very many. Enough about myself. Thank you very much, Linda, for that. I would like to talk today and have both speakers speak. Shruti Chandra, who is a senior AVP in Invest India. She heads the retail and BFSI sectors in the UK, Ireland, Portugal, Belgium, Canada, and regions at Invest India. We will also have on today Luisa Lino, who is Portuguese, living in India and been working at the ASEP for quite a long time. And she's been on the Foreign Direct Investment Division for many years. And it's a very dear subject to her, especially to talk about women and how we can help promote women in this industry. May I move the floor on to Luisa?
Luisa, you have no microphone. Could you, okay.
Okay. First of all, I would like to say to thank WICCI for having us today and to be able to talk a little bit about FDI. I would also like to congratulate on the opening of the Portuguese chapter. I'm quite sure there's a lot of work ahead, and I'm quite sure for what I have been seeing here today that it's going to be a very dynamic organization and with a lot of very joyful women heading it. So, very looking forward to see what is going to happen in the future. I would like to thank also Alexandra for the introduction, and also to say hi to Shruti. We meet quite often here in Delhi, and I really like to work with Shruti. She's always very, very efficient, and it's fantastic to, to work together. Even last year, it's now a year that the Portuguese president, Marcelo Rebelo de Sousa, came to India, to New Delhi, and Invest India was extremely helpful, and it was a very, very important partner for us, and we are very thankful for, I am very thankful for that. Concerning, foreign direct investment in Portugal, FDI has been very, very generous for Portugal in recent years, even during the pandemic, under the leadership of a woman. Actually, the head of the investment division at ICEP is a very dynamic woman. Her name is Filomena Dias, and she has been fantastic, in the leadership of the FDI team. So, we are having very good results, but it's also thanks to a great team of men and women that are, led by Filomena. Why it is good to invest in Portugal, or why would it be good for Indian companies to invest in Portugal? I think the main reason why investment has been so popular in Portugal now is that we were able, some 2 decades ago, we were able to understand that one of the reasons why we were not getting the best possible investment was because we needed more talented people. We needed a good pool of people so that we would have the most interesting investment coming to the country. So the country invested in education, and several governments from different areas understood that education was one of the most important things to have Portugal becoming attractive for good companies in the world. And so that's, I would say, is the most important reason why we are so competitive, and why we have been able to attract so many companies and such good investment. One of the other reasons why Portugal is so convenient is the access to European markets. The European market has 500 million people, and Portugal also is in the euro market, so it's very easy for the transactions among all different countries. Another interesting reason for Portugal in investment is that Portugal is a bridge to Portuguese-speaking countries. Like not only Brazil, Portugal is very knowledgeable about business ways in Brazil, but also in Africa. Portugal is well known in the world to be a specialist in Africa. So that's also one of the reasons why investment in Portugal is so interesting, because from Portugal, companies can access either the European market, or in partnerships or with Portuguese knowledge go to African markets. And I think this is also very interesting to India, because India is a natural market for Africa, and to sell to Africa and to invest in Africa. And I think India can get very good knowledge and very good partnerships in Portugal to invest in Africa. One of the other reasons why Portugal is such a good destination for investment is also because of predictability. Portugal is it's a country where there's not many risks. It's one of the safest countries in the world. There's political and social stability all year round. The operational risks are almost inexistent, and a very good infrastructure to make sure that supplies and that the things come on time to the factories, and also that we can ship things to our clients at any time when convenient.
Tell us a little bit about women, how you think that women may contribute to this. I know it's a dear subject to you.
Yes, it is, yes, it is. I think, women in a country can be extremely helpful. As I think I told Alexandra before, I was brought up in a women's boarding school, in a girls' boarding school. And I remember very well that the headmaster used to tell us, you can work for your country, you can do wonders for your country through the education of your children. And also, if you work hard enough, you can also do everything, whatever that you want. And I think that was very important. And it's also one of the reasons, I believe, why our girls have been so many times the first ever in Portugal to do something, like to be the first engineer, the first doctor, and I think it's just because people told us that if we did believe in ourselves and if we worked hard enough, we would get wherever we wanted. It's very interesting also, and it's a little bit on the side, but women have a very important role also in the economy. There's some research being done now, for example, on the role of the mother that plays sports. If a sports mother has any influence in the children that she raises up. And the results are very interesting because, you know, if you think about the personality, children whose mother was a sports player or something, they are more open. They are better at controlling stress. So there are so many things that we still have to learn about the role of women in society, and I think that we will be very happy with what we can do. And also, I don't know if I should let Shruti speak a little bit, you know, just to say something right now, and I'll be happy to come whenever it's time for me.
I'd love to hear from both of you to see how we can interact and have the Indian side as well. And
yeah,
I think there's a lot of similarities, and I think everyone would agree.
yes.
Shruti, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Thank you so much, and you know, it's an honor to be here, and I want to thank all the organizers and the WICCI team to be organizing this event. It is such an important topic, not just, you know, when you look at Portugal and Indian relations, but also the whole topic on women and the role that they play. So very, very important, and thank you so much. It's an honor to be here. If I was to talk about, you know, the India-Portugal relations, you know, we're historical allies. I think if we look at, you know, any partner that India has had, Portugal is one of the oldest partners, you know, all the way from, you know, how we started off with Goa, etc. So it's one of the closest partners and allies for us, and we share, you know, so much more than just investments and trade. It's a people-to-people connection, and that's very important. In terms of trade, you know, we've crossed approximately 1 billion, and trade, as Luisa also mentioned, you know, is growing day by day, and it's a very, very important and integral part of the relationship that we share today. In terms of FDI as well, you know, India, of course, is one of the most open economies when we look at any country today where private sector is able to play a huge part. And when we look at the Portugal-India relationship especially, you know, this is also growing strength to strength. Already, Portugal is one of the top 50 countries which is investing in India. And, you know, Luisa and I work together with this aim that, you know, it'll become even better. And, you know, we'll be able to promote further into India. So from that perspective, you know, in investments, we've seen a lot of interest from Portugal companies in the past when it comes to telecom, when it comes to services. Also, construction and real estate is a very important you know, sector that we've seen growth when it comes to investments. But there are a lot of niche areas, you know, that are growing, and very critical sectors where we see a lot of investments from Portugal coming in, as well as, you know, a lot of interest that can be driven. So, for example, areas such as fintech, where India and Portugal both are, you know, countries which are very tech focused. You know, we have, when we talk about startups, for example, you know, that's a extremely important segment or element of the society for both countries. So fintech is a growing sector, and we, you know, we think that there's a lot of potential for collaboration there. Also, if you look at auto and auto components, that's another segment that, you know, of course, has traditionally seen a lot of interest from Portugal, but also I think that, you know, that's another segment that will be growing. Apart from this, I think another area is also tourism and wellness and Ayush. These are areas that, you know, we see a lot of potential for Portuguese companies to come and play an extremely important role, in India. And of course, last but not the least is, of course, the Bollywood connect and the movie connect that we have. And I think, given the huge diaspora that we have in Portugal as well, there is a huge linkage when it comes to that particular sector as well. So those are just some of the key sectors that I wanted to highlight. But, the most important point is, when I mentioned the whole, it's important for, when you look at FDI, that it is, of course, a business decision, but it is also a decision for people to feel comfortable, for them to see, for there to be a connect. And I think that is what makes Portugal so very special for us, because we have that people-to-people connect, and especially that connect that we have through Goa, which is such an important, relationship builder when we look at the relationship that we have with Portugal. And so I'll stop here. I think I've spoken, but I wanted to also mention that, Louisa plays such an important role, when we talk about investments, and, her and her team have played a very critical role already, but we really look forward to working with her. In fact, we've been in discussions on how what more we can do, apart from just focusing on the traditional sectors, some of these niche sectors that I mentioned. How can we promote more knowledge about this? How can we spread more awareness about the opportunities that exist? So, Louisa, really looking forward to working with you this year and the years to come. And of course, happy to take any questions on the, what we do, etc. after this. But just to bring it back to, the role that Invest India plays, Alexandra, I'll just take a minute, is that Invest India is the national investment promotion and facilitation arm of the government, which has been set up under the Ministry of Commerce. And all our services are completely pro bono. I also have my colleague Ishan, who worked very closely with Louisa when the president had come for the Auto Summit, etc. And Louisa, you were talking about the success of that event. It's primarily due to Ishan and his team. So essentially, the team at the Portugal desk at Invest India acts as the relationship manager for any company or startup or SME that is looking at investing into the country or wants to do business with the country. So, our mandate is to work from, the various phases of the investment life cycle that the company goes through, to assist them, to handhold them, to connect them to the relevant stakeholders within the Indian government as well as the industry, and provide them with the requisite support to make it easier for them to do business in India. So I'll stop here, but happy to take on more questions. Yeah, that's it.
Shruti, thank you very much. That was very explanatory. And Louisa, do you have any words to say to complete a bit of Shruti's speech?
Yes, sure. Basically, also to say that, basically Portugal, the ICEP is an agency also that tries to make things easier, either for Indian companies when they come to Portugal, or while they are looking for a good location in Europe, and we like to help them to understand why Portugal is a good location, and also when they are thinking of coming to India, because India is such a huge market that, of course, I think it would be wonderful if we could have more Portuguese companies in India. And of course, India is so big that, we think that it would be very important, and Invest India is very important, because we think it's a key point to find good partners. Even if all Portuguese come to India, it's not enough to do the management, because India is so big. So for us, it's very important to, to have the support of Invest India to help us find good partners for our companies. And I think that way will be fantastic, because I think when I came to India, I found a lot of things. I lived in Japan for 9 years. And when I arrived, I found so many things that were common. Now I don't know what are those things anymore, but there are so many. I found so many touching points between India and Japan. And there are also so many points that are common in India and Portugal. India is extremely creative. They don't give up when they want something. We are the same, Now I am driving in New Delhi, and I think, I can deal with this so easily, because it's a little bit like in Portugal, just a little different, of course, but we can think in such similar ways that I think we can be great business partners in the future.
Two amazing synergies together. Thank you very much, ladies. So do we have, well, I think we'll take questions at the end for this
Yes.
and I'll pass it on to Linda.
Okay. There is one question which I received. That's what I was looking at right now, and it goes to both ladies. But I'm going to start with Shruti, if Alexandra allows me, and that is: are there any special policies or specific policies for women, encouraging women to invest in India, or is there anything that's specifically targeting women or gender parity, or what can you tell us about the opportunities for women in India, Shruti? And then Louise, I'm going to go to you as well.
Right. So thank you so much, Linda. We do have a lot of schemes, to encourage women entrepreneurs. So, something that I didn't mention is also the focus that the government has put on encouraging startups and entrepreneurship, which, the Prime Minister, the Honorable Prime Minister also launched the Startup India initiative with this thought in mind to, encourage entrepreneurship, to encourage job creation in the country, which is the need of the hour for a country like us, with the huge population base. And, we have approximately 10 million college graduates entering the workforce every year. So that said, startups and entrepreneurs, the whole theme is very important, but also it's extremely important, and the government knows this, is, to encourage women entrepreneurs. So there are a lot of schemes for women entrepreneurs, both at the central level as well as, each state today is also competing to become better when it comes to the startup ecosystem. So, more than 50, most states today have a specific startup policy. And each of these startup policies today has a focus on women entrepreneurs. So just to put this into perspective, out of all the startups that, we have in India, India today is one of the second or the third largest startup ecosystem. 11% of them are women entrepreneurs. So, that's a huge base, and, this is only growing year by year. And so, so at the center level, there are a lot of funding programs that are provided, both from, the SIDBI programs that we have, which is, to promote MSMEs and startups, but also each of the ministries. For example, if you talk about, food processing ministry, they also have schemes as well as, programs to encourage women entrepreneurs. So it's an extremely important topic, very close to the government, our Honorable Prime Minister's heart. And I can tell you that, that's something that is there. But specifically, if, the question, is directed towards any special sector, or, if you want further details, then I can come back to you and provide that.
I can connect you. Yes. Okay. And Louisa.
Well, in Portugal, I think we do not have many special schemes just for women, which means that, I think we kind of did a good job for now. And basically that's kind of a equality of opportunities. What I think and what I hope that this pandemic brings us, one of the good things is that the pandemic showed us that we do not have to be every time from 9 to 5 at work, that we can do some other things, that we can be more flexible. I was a volleyball player for many years, and I did it all the way up to the national team. I really enjoyed it. And one of the things that breaks my heart is that my daughter wanted to do rhythmic gymnastics, and I could not, because rhythmics was at 4:30 and I had to be at work at least until 5. And she could have done it everything. We can do everything. And now we see that, we can work, we can start working at 6, we can stop a little bit, and then we can go back to work again. I think we are all working more now than we did before, because it's work all day long, something comes and we answer, and work really came into our lives. There's good and bad about it. And I think we have still to get better at it. But I hope that this pandemic brings something good. Before I came to India, I was a member of the Portuguese Sports Confederation of the board, and what I was trying to do was to help women or men, it doesn't matter, to come back to work, because I think it's a privilege that we can take care of our children. It's fantastic that we can have them, we can feed them. It's like fast food over there. We can always feed them. And I think it's really fantastic that we can be with them. And it's very important that women can stay some time with the children, even in elementary school. In Japan, for example, women usually stay at home with the children during elementary school, and then they go to work. And what I would like governments to do is to, to support women coming back to work, either normal work, sports work, whatever. And also one of the things that I would like to see is that we have to look at people, men and women, as having different roles in during time. So when a child is 6 years old, or when a child goes to school, we have to help them doing the homework, behaving in school, doing some things. And then, when they are 20 or when they are 18, we should have had some time working to help them also choosing their course, choosing their studies. Women have also to grow even, when we are adults, have different experience and pass those experiences also to the children.
So the new world is a world of opportunities for women. Great.
For everyone.
Okay. Shruti, I have another question for you, and that is about internship and the university level education system. I have people saying that is there some scheme in place for exchange of students between universities, for studying from Portugal, studying an Erasmus style project for India, and are Indian companies open to internships from foreign students?
Right. No, thanks, Linda. Extremely important. Being someone who studied, was a part of the Erasmus University, I know how relevant it is. Yes, there are definitely different companies today that are actively recruiting. There is no restriction on that. Of course, it depends on the work visa that they apply for, etc. But there are no restrictions. The most important thing is that given the whole the opening up of the sectors, the number of global companies coming in, as well as Indian companies going more global, for example, you have Tatas, etc. The need of the hour is to make the workforce more global. So, that's something that we're actively seeing in a lot of companies. So I would encourage everyone to, see opportunities. I'm not saying that every company would be doing this, but definitely a lot of the top tier companies are actively looking for internships, etc. From a university point of view, yes, definitely. A lot of universities have tie-ups where they have exchange programs, etc. So for example, personally, I know IIM Calcutta has an exchange program with the program that I did, which is a SEMS program. So where you do one semester in India, and then the other semesters are done with the tie-up that the university has. So, at a personal level, I know this happens because I was a part of the SEMS program, but I'm sure actively now we're seeing a lot of, global Indian universities partner with other global universities to, have exchange programs. So it depends on the university that you're applying to. But everything is online these days, and
Yes.
If they have any questions, then happy to assist them. And of course, if anyone's looking at a special internship at Invest India, I'd also welcome those people to apply, because we would also love to have someone from Portugal work with the team to educate us on the cultural aspects as well.
Actually, this allows me to throw a challenge, as the theme of International Women's Day this year is Dare to Challenge, and so I'm challenging the boss. But this is one of the topics for a future forum, because I notice that a lot of young people today, more than gender, it's about talent and diversity and multicultural. They say that the professional of the 21st century, the executive, must be multinational, multilingual, and multicultural. So it is very important that we actually bring this concept of internships and university and opportunities both ways into our next forum, Marianela. So this is I'm launching the idea here, because I think I can see that there's interest from the young people in the students community. Okay, the next and last, yes, Marianela, you switched on your microphone.
Challenge accepted.
Oh, great. Oh, that's what I like, when you throw a challenge and you get immediate acceptance. Amazing. Thank you, Marianela. One of the last questions that I've got is COVID in both countries. but it's not about COVID itself, it's about confidence, because we know that the problem now is no longer just COVID, it's fear. Fear, worry, panic, hesitation, incapacity to make decisions. And today, this morning, and this question comes from me, this morning I heard that PwC held some kind of research poll in the UK, and we found that from around the world, CEOs have now more confidence in the way the economy is going to rev up in 22, in the new world, in the new opportunities with online, etc. So I'm looking at your countries, and I'm asking you, what is the confidence of leaders in your countries as to the economy for 2022? Because we all are assuming that 2021 is going to be a slow burn year because of this fear and this paralysis through analysis, but that 22 is going to be rev up. Are your countries having the same vision? Louise, I'll start with you and then go to Shruti.
Linda, just a little, just one thing about the students. Yes, there is a lot of interest, and Portuguese universities are asking many questions. There was even, I think it was WICCI last week, they had a, kind of a big conference for universities, and yes, there were some Portuguese universities that were interested to, to take part of it. So I think,
Excellent.
Yes, it's starting
Excellent.
already.
Excellent.
About COVID, I think India did a fantastic job. At the beginning, it was very, very tough. The lockdown was really, really hard. But I think India was very clever. Very, very early they understood that the children were the main transmitters. So children are still at home. Now they are getting out to school. In the big cities, they are still at home. And people remain in the, office workers, only 10% went back to the office. So the economy is going, I think Shruti must have more information than I do on this.
Yes, no, I want you to tell me about Portugal, and I'll ask
I'm
Shruti
in India now,
India.
Linda, I'm in India. I'm living in India.
So are you not updated with what's happening?
I'm not updated.
Okay.
I think, for what I compare, I think India did a fantastic work, and Shruti was still working the other day from office. So I think it's very clever, and I think India did a very good job. After July, it was fantastic.
Okay, Shruti, tell us what the confidence level is in India with your CEOs and your leaders, because it's not just about politics. We know that it's about corporate confidence, it's about business confidence, it's about retaining talent, it's about the brain drain, it's about all those things. So how is India dealing with these issues?
No, I think it's India, of course, went through a difficult phase, but I think what really helped us is how fast we moved on it. And all said and done, it helps when you're diligent, when you're strict. In a situation like this, it was very critical. So our leaders took very strict measures, but that's what almost what has really helped us. So for example, I was looking that in a recent WICCI survey, the overall business confidence in India, and this is they took the survey in December, is reached about 74.2, and nearly 30% of all the respondents expected that they'll have a higher profit in the first half. And the survey included about 190 companies with a turnover of about 1 crore rupees, etc. So I think these green shoots of recovery are happening. And what's really helped us, first is the immediate response that the Indian government took, the strict measures it took, but also the fact that Indian economy is also very positive. When you look at the demand or the consumer market, what really impacted a lot of economies is that demand went down. But in India, it is one of the largest consumer markets, and that that has really helped us, because even if you looked at for example the e-commerce sector, that demand didn't really go down. It just moved from the brick and mortar to the e-commerce channels. So that has really helped us, and also the fact that we're a very young nation. So we're, one of the youngest nations, in fact, and will continue to be one of the youngest nations. So it also brings in that element of recovery and, this spirit to fight, which is also very critical. So I think those elements have helped. And, when you look at, as someone from Invest India who's dealing with both Indian companies as well as foreign companies, I think, that confidence is definitely positive. It has remained positive. Yes, there were, dark days, but I don't think that, it has been, it's something that is not improved. We are seeing a lot of positive growth stories. And I think personally as well, if I look at some of the sectors that I work with, while there was a lag, I wouldn't say that it was a slowdown.
Okay, that's excellent. And we can honestly say that on behalf of Portugal also, that there was a smart strategy put in place and that there is a lot of confidence for 2022. Portuguese companies, and 97% of Portuguese companies are micro companies. They're small, up to 10 employees. The amazing talent to pivot and change your business. I mean, we were the first on the ground producing masks, certified equipment, certified technological solutions. So it just shows that it's not about the size. Well, in some things, it's not about size. It's not about size, but it's about the capacity and the attitude. And one of the things that I think Portugal here culturally shares with India is attitude, okay? And the attitude is, it has to be done, let's just do it. And so there was this great capacity of skills to pivot and change and survive and develop. And with the Portuguese company being one of the companies that least spent helping its companies, the capacity of the number of companies that have survived shows that we are ready for a technological world, for a new world, that we are open to investment, that we have skills, that we have 63% of all graduates are women in Portugal. We have tremendously skilled people who are multicultural and multinational and have a great attitude to international investment and to international companies. So I think that there's a lot of us to talk about, Shruti, between Portugal and India. Louisa,
I completely agree with you. In fact, you mentioned pivoting. So in India, we hardly had, any expertise in creating PPEs, etc. And in just a few months' time, we were not only addressing the needs that India had, but we were actively exporting it to other countries. If you look at our pharmaceutical sector as well, today we are actively helping other countries as well with, the pharmaceutical supply. So I think there's another element which is, that we share, which is that whole system of jugaad, innovation, and entrepreneurship. I think that is where we're also very strong.
Shruti, before 1 month of lockdown was up in 2020, I had 3 Indian clients talking to me about pivoting and exporting PPE and all that. So I'm amazed, and I was extremely happy because I connect companies. That was amazing. And Louisa, you have your hand up.
Yes, I do. I just wanted to say something. One of the reasons that I think India also did so well during this lockdown with children in school, at home having lessons, is that the costs of telecommunications, India was very clever, and for a long time, they really have very low costs, which makes data transfer very easily and possible for everyone.
Absolutely.
That is a very important thing, I think.
Absolutely, absolutely. Okay, thank you, ladies, for your time and for your presence. That was wonderful. Thank you for being so contributive, so informative. Thank you, Alexandra, for managing this panel. That was very, very nice. And we are going to move on to our next panel, which is about entrepreneurship and investment. And we have great examples on the panel, but I'm going to leave that to our wonderful moderator, Laleh. And I have just realized I've been mispronouncing her name for 3 months, and she has only now corrected me. So your fault, Laleh. Okay, I have a colleague and a friend called Layla, and so I just transitioned the name. Laleh Hancock. Now, Laleh Hancock is another one of these women that just does not know when to stop. She's the CEO of Velopimo & Co. She's a global wellness consultant, conscious leader, and a passionate enthusiast of sustainability issues. She's one of mine. She's on my team for those reasons. And I'm going to pass the screen to Layla so that she can introduce her guests and move on to her panel. Thank you, Layla, for being with us today, and thank you to your guests.
Thank you, Linda. Thank you, WICCI. Thank you, Marianela, who actually introduced me to this amazing group of people and the empowerment of, you know, most people look at their organizations, they look at their country, they look at the people that they're going to be serving. And what I love about this is truly the partnership and the collaboration of what already exists between India and Portugal. But I'm excited as an American who is now Portuguese living to really the magic and really the collaborative partnership that's here. And I am so happy to introduce three of the incredible entrepreneurs who have been making a huge difference, not just in their businesses, but in the communities and in the partnership with others. The first one I'm going to introduce to you is an Indian-based entrepreneur. Her name is Ritu. Ritu, hello, welcome. Ritu, can you just tell us a little bit about you?
Sure. Good evening, one and all. Namaste from India. I am Ritu Chabriya Sa. I'm an entrepreneur and a speaker. I am based out of the south of India. I'm into varied businesses. One of it is retail garments. It's a unisex setup based in south of India as well as north of India. The second business that I'm into is I work with rural women where we procure locally grown fruits and vegetables. And make organic products out of it.
Ritu, sorry to interrupt you. Could everyone switch their microphones off while Ritu is speaking, and then when you're not speaking, switch off your microphones. Thank you so much.
Thank you. So I run a food enterprise with the rural women. The idea is to generate employment for them. It's more of with the social intention. We procure locally grown fruits and vegetables and make healthy products out of it. And hopefully we shall venture into Portugal soon. The third is I'm a speaker. I give talks on entrepreneurship and human resource management. That's more on my professional side. I'm also associated with a lot of social organizations in India, where we mainly work with the intention of empowering women and children education. That's the main area that we work on.
Thank you so much, Ritu. And you know, when Shruti was talking about entrepreneurship, everything that's going on with the building of businesses, I was so proud to know that Ritu was here and all the information that she's going to be sharing of not just the hypothetical of what do we do, but actually what she's been doing to really empower others. So our next guest, our next entrepreneur is Prasad. Prasad, would you like to unmute and just maybe share just a minute or two about you and this wonderful healthcare world that you've been empowering?
Hello, Laleh. And that's because of, I believe, Linda, that I also started telling her, but Laleh, now that and you were in Mexico, if I remember correctly. Good. So, hola from there. Yes, I do have business into different segment, healthcare, meeting industry, consulting, but I still feel I'm still a startup and still a learner. I think I will put that way, as my LinkedIn says, I'm a father, I'm a learner and an explorer. I would like to keep that. Business to me is to create a difference and to be able to create employment. And that's how I looked at it from the beginning and continue to do so. Of course, this last year has not been very good like anybody else. But people like Linda and the friends and pretty infectious, those energy. And thank you for all these friends from all over the world. But coming back to specific thing of my business is that I believe we as a company create platform for trade and knowledge exchange. And I take great pride with this. The company is 25 years old and into diverse area of healthcare, consulting and others. I moved into Portugal 5 months back. So still very much new and not really able to go beyond Boa tarde and obrigado, but I'm trying my best. I'm trying my best to learn more. It's a very interesting time to be here. And it kind of gave me perspective to how to operate in this market. As our major business comes from US, Lisbon was a perfect destination for us because of the shortest distance to US. And if I have to go to Middle East or maybe my home country, India, it's not that much. It's pretty much, and as I always believed that a country is not about how good you are doing. It's about the people. And I'm so blessed to be here. The people are amazing and they accepted. And I continue to count my blessing here. Coming back to the particular, my area of work, I think that particular area is a bit of missing at the moment in Portugal. So we have great meetings with the stakeholders here, university stakeholder into government, non-governmental area. And I do see a very, very exciting time from 22 onwards. So I'm kind of keeping myself safe at the moment and hibernating and waiting for the right time to strike back. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And by the way, I ended up coming to Portugal for 9 days last year and stayed for 1 year. And I know probably a few words just like you. So I think we're on the same page. But that's one of the things that I have to say. Portugal is one of the most inviting countries that I've ever visited. I mean, I used to travel to a new country every week. And when I landed in Portugal, the kindness, the caring, everyone is there to find a way that they can assist you. This lending hand. And, you know, one of the things that I know, India has always been one of my favorite countries for everything. People, culture, dance, movies, you name it. And I see so much synergy between both countries because the roots, like they were talking about early with Luisa, it's the foundation of both countries is there to empower others to bring more of that equality that we're talking about, but truly empowerment of people thriving. And there might be challenges, but the empowerment between these two countries, honestly, I've never seen anywhere else on the planet. So I'm very, very excited about this partnership. Okay, our other entrepreneur, I hope I say your first name correctly. Is it Cantelo? Did I pronounce that correctly? Great. Can you unmute and maybe just tell us a little bit about you? I'm so excited about your industry of the baking goods industry and all the wonderful cakes and other goodies that you bring into the world.
Oh, okay, clear. Okay. It's my pleasure today to participate on this first connections with WICCI, and especially to see all the strength and young women and young ladies, and me among I think the most senior one. So it's always a pleasure to see the vibrations and to see the will of doing something. And I think it's a very opportune moment for things to come, because a lot of changes in India, a lot of improvements, a lot of many things happening on a global systems. So, and Portugal is a country where we know the strength and the capacity and the quality that we manage. So it's very appropriate to have to strengthen this these connections. And I'll be very pleased to, and whatever I can, I will be very happy to give my small contribution that happens. Regarding myself, contrary to others, I born in Mozambique and living in Portugal for the last 45 years. And can I show you that I entered into the bakery field. I started with a small bakery. Today we have we are producing a variety of cakes, cookies, crackers, a lot of varieties of pastries, toasts, and we, for the size of the country, we have a sizable company here, which is it was a cooperation with a Danish company. That's why our company is called Dancake Portugal, and we have 500 people working with us. We have 2 plants, and I would say definitely that the relation and the dedication of the people, the capacity of the people, and especially for Indian entrepreneurs, I would say this country is not only very friendly, but a very good place. It may look to you people is a small country, but Portugal, being a small country, is a big potential and big influence and big connections to other countries. And now with the situation of Brexit, because normally India's first priority was always UK, but with the Brexit, you will have some bottlenecks there. So the option that definitely I recommend is Portugal. And my experience is that it started from 0 in 76, 77, and slowly kept on increasing and growing. And today we are exporting from here to more than 60 countries. So, and in Portugal, we are in certain segments, we are leaders, and we have the best relation possible with all the stakeholders. Our team, it's like a Dancake family, but our clients, our suppliers, we all, because being a small country, we all work with a very close connection. So I think this is the right place for Indian groups and Indian entrepreneurs to explore, because Portugal has proven the capacity, the security, the technologically, and also mentally are the most nearer to the Indian culture compared to other countries. So I have, of course, the questions that people from India can have, how the people are, how not. So that way, I think we are one of the best countries that to have connections and to lead with the local to Portuguese people is a real privilege and happiness, because a lot of understanding, a lot of dedication. Of course, for Portuguese companies into India, of course, is a huge market. It's a potential market, but there is a, even though now it's changing, but the main issue is the mentality. We have to try to adopt each other with a mentality, and of course, in many fields, Portugal have advanced technology which can be very useful for India market. But the most difficult things is which I think is even though now with the new generation youngsters and now the new culture of India itself, the new dynamism on the recent years, the vibrations and the strength, also we can feel in the whole world that India is today a different country, which I think this is a time enough to take this opportunity and to make things happen. But couldn't be better timings for this. And regarding my company, of course, like every company, like everything in the starting, you had a lot of difficulties, especially coming from Mozambique. When you come from Africa to Europe, the challenges and the demands are much higher than where you use. But after the beginning years, the difficult years, here we are for the last 42 years with the company. And also I had a privilege to be a founder president of a Hindu community in Portugal. We have a nice temple. We have it was before I came, there were no cremations were not allowed. So we managed that the laws was changed to allow the cremation. And today a lot of crematoriums in the whole country and is mostly a lot more used than before. So this country really cares and respects the philosophies and the requirements of other cultures and other philosophies. So that way we couldn't have any better country in the world who could respect more your philosophy. So and I wish Mrs. Marianela and the team, I wish everyone a huge success, because at the end of the day, this is our objectives, that we do something for a betterment of our people and our brothers and whether in Portugal or whether in India, whatever we can create. I used to say that we entrepreneurs and especially industrialists, we are wealth creators. So let's have this strength of the ladies to create more wealth, and let's move forward. I wish all the success, and I'm here for you whenever necessary, a phone call away. All the best.
Thank you so much. And we're definitely going to take you up on that, because there's just so many opportunities here. Linda, do you have any specific questions, or can I go ahead and continue with the questions that we had planned?
No, go ahead. And then as I get questions, I'll bring them in at the end. And Kantilal, I'll be knocking at your door.
With my pleasure.
Ritu, I'd love to hear from you. I mean, you have created, such a diverse background. You bringing the unisex in terms of the textile industry, the things that you're doing to empower the next generation, and even looking at the preservation of food and ways that people can have that sustainability with food. So I'm curious about you as the entrepreneur, your experience, and also kind of like the future and the visionary of what you see in that, bringing the strengths of what you've created in India and that partnership with Portugal.
Thank you so much. It's the most important and the buzzing topic that's happening in India right now. It's the entrepreneurship. And most important, which is very close to my heart, is women entrepreneurship. Ideally, we should be called as entrepreneurs, but there is always that thing called women entrepreneurs. The idea is there is a lot of, we are the largest youth population in India. We do not have enough opportunities to provide jobs. So now the trend is everybody's coming up with ideas and vision. It's become the startup hub of the world. People are coming up with ideas and business opportunities, mainly in the agricultural field, because India is the largest, producer of food, and this is something which can never go out of demand. We've actually seen it during COVID. Everybody has realized that everybody was only dependent on food and there was nothing else that was in demand. So looking at that and looking at the options that are available in India, We have a varied background, we have different temperatures, so we can cater to a different set of food which are in demand abroad. To start with, there's a lot of rural setup here. There are women who are growing, who do farming, but do not know the source of making money out of it. So the government has started this concept called the clusters, which is very popular, which is becoming very popular in India. If you all know, we already had a setup like that called Lijat Papad and Amul. So the group of women, they meet having, so I will give you an example of what we do. There are a set of women who grow jackfruit in our build, and it is always wasted, and it's naturally grown. There is no problem in growing there. You don't need chemicals, you don't need a lot of water to grow them, and it is high in vitamin. It has cancer fighting properties, and it is high in demand abroad. So looking at the scenario here, and we saw a lot of wastage of jackfruit happening in our belt, which is easily grown. It is effortless. So we started to, we involve these ladies in their, they grow jackfruit in their backyard. So we started to make a small group of these women, rural women. They cut the jackfruit, they clean the jackfruit, and they get it to the center, so that can be used to make another final product. In this way, we are trying to create employment opportunities for the women without making much effort. So like this, there are a lot of other products that can be made out of jackfruit, which are highly in demand. But there is a way you need to have very basic infrastructure, but certain products can get you a good amount of money, and it is a source of employment for these rural areas. This is exact, and this is mainly being targeted for the rural areas because they do not have access to cold storage, they don't have access to transport. So the government is trying to come up with these kind of clusters where the women will get a common facility and they can use world-class facilities without investing much. So we are trying to create this kind of awareness where with a minimum investment, a woman can, without investing in the entire setup, without much capital, the government is trying to help them come up with the best of facilities and, making them independent as well. This is the new thing that it works for not only rural women, but for also women in the urban sectors, where when you want to start any business, it gets very difficult to start up the entire factory, to invest in every part of the, right from packaging to selling to labeling. It's not possible for a manufacturer to, or to invest in all those machinery. So when a group of women come together and we avail this facility, it's easier for us to manufacture in larger scale, as well as the government is also providing us market information where we can sell our products. So once the setup is ready, they have an easy market to international, they have access to international markets. The government is helping them standardize the product, also come up with, various standards, to meet various standards before selling the product. So this is one of the initiatives that we are actively trying to work on. The second part that I'm personally trying to do is we are trying to create awareness about entrepreneurship. What happens is, organizations like WICCI, we have a lot of other organizations in India too, which are very instrumental in spreading the word about what the government has to offer with our own experiences and also by attending forums like these. So we act as a bridge to the other women by sharing information as to what kind of facilities are available. Now, one being like the golden visa scheme. Most of the times in India, what we have seen is the ease of doing business has always stopped one to start business. But now, under the able guidance of our Honorable Prime Minister, everything has become easy. With a click of button, you can register your company. Every information is available. And that has become very easy for anybody to start business. That's why during lockdown, actually, a lot of new ideas, a lot of business has been generated because people in India have that spirit where, you know, they have to keep making money and they keep, as Shruti has rightly mentioned, jugaad. They come up with ideas in seconds. So that's how people have tried and, you know, come up with various ideas, and government has appreciated and made efforts to this. Mainly the setup of India is such, especially the startups, the kind of businesses that they are doing are not only helping their businesses, but it is also creating a buzz and driving India forward. That's why we see a lot of investments happening in India, especially in the field of these new ideas that's coming up. I'll just talk about the advantages of investing in India, mainly because of the ever-growing consumer base. The market never stops. It's going to keep growing and growing, and there's always demand for products. And we notice that the population here, the youth specifically, are trying to get more opportunities to create in India. So, you know, if they can get some investments from Portugal, they are willing to experiment. And also mainly because of the low development cost and the labor. These are the two factors that also are driving investment in India. And right now, India is at such a stage where, you know, the way it has reacted. Always, India was always buzzing and people were attracted towards India in terms of investment. But specifically post-COVID, the way India has, you know, has reacted and managed the situation. And you see that the market is slowly opening up. Compared to a lot of countries, India is almost back to normal in terms of doing business. I think that's what has become the most attractive part about investing in India. Also, the government is also being very supportive in terms of the foreign rules, in terms of setting up, in terms of, it's trying to ease out and trying to make the whole starting off a business in another country more simpler and more inviting. So I hope.
That's wonderful. Thank you so much for that, Ritu. Very grateful for you. Okay, so Mr. Cantonal, I have another question for you. Can you tell me the best aspects of Portugal for investors and the international companies and how we can bring more of them to Portugal?
All the investors, whoever have looking for opportunities, they also think about the countries where they can grow. And as I mentioned before, Portugal is a fantastic base for the European Union. And this is one of the bases. And also, as far as the production cost and all the facilities that we have, for what I know about the whole Europe, I think that will be the best base for them to, because you see the production costs, the investments, the security, the stability, and also, as you know, one of the first countries Prime Minister Modi has visited was Portugal, even for a very short period of time in a transit. So, and also the Prime Minister of Portugal, they are very keen in increasing. So, you know, the vision for a long-term vision is that this there are a lot of common bases and a lot of strengths. So I think that for the Indian investors is a great opportunity to see Portugal with the markets. It's according to the markets. They're looking for European markets. This is the best place for them. But globally speaking, for Indian entrepreneurs and also for my experience, Portugal itself is a small market. It's difficult to have investments only based on local market. But if you have a product that you can export into Europe, then the potential is big. But I do believe that also in the, for example, as you know, on the infrastructure and also the a lot of service industry and with ITs and all this. And recently, you know, like in a lot of Chinese groups also came to Portugal, and health industry, and even on ADPs. And so there are some good opportunities but one thing important is that, as you mentioned before, this country have a huge number of small and medium companies. And I do believe that a similar situation in India, but what happens, and that's the strength, if they can all variety of products and high quality, they can definitely win, but otherwise you need a scale of a market. So I do believe that all this knowledge and that what we have also a little while ago, you can see like in agriculture products, a lot of things can be done in Portugal, can be done in Azores, can be done in Madeira. So there are some specific Indian vegetables, which are, some of them are grown here in a small quantities, but that can be value-added products can be brought here. So there are a lot of opportunities for Indian entrepreneurs, and also for the Portuguese entrepreneurs. The most difficult or the most priority one should think is to find a right people, because in India it's when you go, because for the Portuguese companies the market is so big and the potential is there, but really they should find a mentality which works in the same concept. As you know, that we think a long term, and whenever we do something, is we have to have a patience and grow. So, but this is sometimes the country like India, where a population is so big, and whenever they have an opportunity, if they try to make something faster and something that does not always matches with the philosophy. So it's a question of adapting, because for sure, in my opinion, but just let me ask you one question. If you say what the Indian investors, why should they invest in Portugal? Then tell me, UK was the priority, but now with the Brexit, they have a limited day market. So which other countries you can compare with that they have the similar situation than Portugal? People-wise, friendly-wise, fair play-wise. I think there are a lot of things which can be the right place for Indian investors to come in. My experience here, and that's important, that people, because you know, whenever the people are in here, they want to know what's Portugal, how the people are. I'm here for 45 years, so I think it's of course, I'm more Portuguese than Indian because I never lived there. But when I go to India, I'm a foreigner there, because I realize, no, not for the skin, but whenever my behavior, if I speak 2 words, they will know this guy is not from here. So it's the only handicaps the Indian investors can have here is the language. This is sometimes the biggest problem they have is, you know, if you speak the local language is much easier. But today in Portugal, most of the youngsters, they speak so many languages and English and so on. So it's no longer, of course, it's always different than if you dominate the language, but otherwise no problem, because you never get stuck. If you know English, you never got stuck in Portugal, because not like 20 years ago, very few people were talking English. Today, everybody speaks English. So it's, I think that also is the problem is reduced, and you see the amount of foreign companies coming to Portugal to invest. So that's a better example than this. You cannot have that. So I think is both ways, potential different and a different scale. The potential in the both countries exists, and now we know whenever you have if you want something to be done, involve the ladies, and that will happen. So this is the case now. So when a WICCI comes in, things has to happen.
Well spoken.
And I have a small example. For example, we always want our children to speak our own Gujarati language, you see. So, but unfortunately, we are losing that culture that they are slowly forgetting. But I used to say to my members that it all depends on the mothers and the ladies at home if they want the children to speak the language, because the mothers can make them carry on. So this is an example for anything. And today, if you see in every field, you see it's a much more involvement of even in India today. It's we can see a lot of entrepreneurship, and I do believe that also I think there are a lot of feelings for business and a lot of willpower. So, and in my company, 75% of the work is girls and ladies. So it's and that's I feel that that things will happen, and anything there are, of course, when we go into details, a lot of fields where we can be added value to them.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for that.
Welcome.
Prasant, I have a question for you. What do you perceive to be a real obstacle in doing business between the two countries?
No, I was very intensely listening to Mr. Kantilal. And of course, his experience in this Portugal for such a long time, it's very, very valuable. My last 5, of course, I run a global company and we do international business. English has always been a preferred language. After coming here, I would say 60–70% of the time, there is no problem that I face, but there are cases, especially in the public offices. Local language would be very, very interesting to know. And that brings a very, very interesting project that I am about to launch. Most probably it will be December. We are still discussing with the ministry. It's called International Language Fair. Basically, as Mr. Kantilal mentioned, that, and as you will all know, due to English, most of the countries are losing their colloquial language because there are less and less number of literature, poem, stories, books have been written in those language, your own language. And you cannot blame the authors also, because they know if they write it in English, their markets are going to be much larger than if they write in a local language. And due to this, there is a downturn. History always says that if you can respect your language, those countries are always very, very strong. Look at Japan, some of the China, let's say, for that matter. And so this particular event that we are doing, project this year, will be bringing all the language experts from all over the world and discussing not only language as it is. And I was told Portuguese is the 7th largest language spoken in the world. 7th, they said. Oh, could be 5th. Okay. And then along with it, there will be entertainment, there will be culture, books in different language, fashion in different language, cinema in different language, so as to promote this thing. So coming back to my business, luckily the kind of business we run, we have been a little fortunate. Thus, English is very widely spoken because of the international nature. Though I have a very good lawyer and an accountant who's been helping me translating things. I don't go to Google to translate it. Sometimes it gets a complete different. But so far there has not been a problem, and I think that is the strength. And also I agree with Kantivai, is that after this Brexit has happened, I think Portugal should be the gateway. India, and as I see, next year will be a complete exodus of Indian people coming for holidays, weddings, and if I refer to last month's Times of India, which is the largest newspaper, that there are 20% of the high net worth individuals are looking at Portugal for whether it's a golden visa, whether it is D7, which is a retirement visa. And there is huge demand coming in from there, because a lot of people want to use Portugal as the gateway to Europe, because they think similarity with people, and people are extremely accepting here. I have not seen any racism here. Food are more or less similar. Weather is moderate, but of course much more similar into that area. I think these are a great opportunity between India and Portugal, and we are taking advantage of it. And I'm sure all the others, those who are joining, they will also take advantage of it.
Thank you so much. I'm so grateful for all three of you and the knowledge, the expertise, and the wisdom that you shared, and also your vision of the future. So thank you for, one, being an entrepreneur, because we need more of those in the world, and for being here with us today. Oh, Kantanala, you have one more thing. Okay.
The important thing is that if you think about, talk to any Portuguese people, more than 50% of the Portuguese people dream would be to go and visit India and go visit Goa. So I would recommend the WICCI to, if you manage one decision to work, you will see everything will be booming. Just manage one direct flight to India, whether it's Air India or whether it's Air Portugal. That will make things much more speedier, okay? Because you just, normally when you go any place, they say, oh, I would love to go to India. Today, you see about anything, if you see fashion, if you see spiritual, if you see, and whoever goes to India, of course, when you go to India, you have to be careful. I mean, you're not going to Europe, you're going to India, but they come happy. So I think there is, and with airline, and I tried this long before, I tried to manage, because it makes things much more easier and faster if you have a direct flight. So this is something for tourism, for anything, for all the exchange. But now that we are starting, this can be one of the objectives if you think it's the right decision. All the best, I think.
Can I say something? Because you spoke
yes.
about direct flights. I am the aviation woman.
you are
so
right.
Let's connect WICCI and aviation, and I'll promise to do my best in order to get it. And thank you very much to all the participants, and Mr. Kantilal. I was a fan of yours. From today onwards, I will be even more fun. Thank you very much.
You have somebody here, a friend here, whenever you need. Just, I'm very happy that you've taken part and you are leading this beautiful project, because and also I forgot that you are on the aviation, and I know you for many years. I've heard a lot about with you, and I'm so happy to participate today, and wish you all the success.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Now back to Linda.
Thank you. I think, Mr. Kantilal, you've got a whole range of fans here, but so has Prasant and Ritu. Thank you so much for your time, all of you. Thank you for your contribution. Thank you very, very much. Okay, now, We've had panels discussing opportunities, investment, entrepreneurship, opportunities for women. We've touched on so many things, and we have questions that we will follow up on because time limits do not allow us to ask any more questions. So now we're going to hear a little case study from the voice of the perpetrator of the case study. And so we're honored to have, he can't be with us today because he has a major board meeting. So he has pre-recorded his intervention, and we're going to listen to, Kantilal, you have your microphone on. Your mic, okay. So we're going to listen to João Castro, who is the highly respected president of Visaveira Global, and he pre-recorded his message to us, and we're going to hear his intervention at the moment as a case.
Hello, I'm João Castro. I'm executive member of the board of Visaveira Group, and well, I'm also a painter when I have the time, but unfortunately I don't have much time nowadays. I'm very happy to be here with you. Marianela invited me to be here, because we are friends, but mostly because my group, Visaveira Group, we are also in India, and she asked me to explain more or less what our experience in India. Okay, but before 1 minute, before or two, I would like to introduce you Visaveira Group and explain more or less the environment and why did we go to India. So Visaveira Group, it's a multinational group. Its headquarters it's here in Portugal, but it's around the world with many activities. Mostly we have 3 business areas. The first one is tourism. In this area, the group, we have hotels, restaurants, shopping mall, marina, golf, lots of activities and investments in Portugal mostly, but also in Africa. This is our first business area. Our second business area, it's industry. In industry, we have factories and they produce many different products. For instance, we have a brand, Vista Alegre. Many people know, maybe some of you know Vista Alegre, it's an international brand. And we have factories that produce, one factory produces, for instance, the porcelain, luxury porcelain. Another one produces crystal, luxury crystal. Another produces ceramics, another works exclusively for IKEA. Another factory produces, for instance, wood pellets, another kitchen furniture. Okay. We have many factories in Portugal and abroad. So this is second area. The third area, most important area in the Visaveira Group, it's telecommunications and energy. This is our core business. And we are around Europe and other countries, other geographies with the telecommunications and energy. For instance, we are in Africa, in Mozambique and Angola, working in telecommunications, installation of networks and design, but we are also cable TV operators in Angola and Mozambique. And in Europe, mostly we work for the European operators and utilities. We have our own companies, for instance, in Denmark, in Sweden, in Germany, in France, in Belgium, in Italy, in UK. This year we'll go to other markets in Europe. And what do we do? What do we do mostly? We work for the operators. So we are doing at this moment mostly the design, the construction and installation of fiber to the home, and 5G. That's our big work at this moment because, as you know, the investments in telecommunications are huge around. But with this COVID, we need more, better and more reliable networks. So there's good work for us around. So besides that, of course, we are in India. We are in India. I must start for saying that I love India. I love very much India. I've been there many times. Last time it was last year, but because since then it's very difficult to travel now. I'm really waiting to return as soon as possible. But I love India. I love the people. I love the country, the culture, of course, the history, and the business environment. So till now, the experience for us in India, it's a good experience, very good experience. Of course, there are cultural differences when you compare Europe and India, but for us that's not a problem because with mutual respect, this is never an obstacle ever. So no problem about that. So we are now in India in two main areas and businesses. One is Vista Alegre with products, with the porcelain and crystal, and we are selling. We have a partner in India. We are selling around. It's very good. We are going step by step, of course, but people usually like very much the brand and the quality and the luxury of Vista Alegre products. So that's one of the business. We are happy with it. Another business we have in India, it's telecommunications. So we have a partnership with an Indian group, and we have a company in India, and we start by getting a permit, a license permit, to be a wholesale telecommunications operator. So we got it some time ago, and then we started, and we are finishing now, a backbone of fiber optics. We are finishing the construction of around 6,000 kilometers of fiber optic, and we are doing this in two Indian states, Orissa and West Bengal. That's what we are doing. We are constructing, we are finishing, and as far as we construct, we do the leasing to the Indian operators. So that's our business. Things are well. It was our investment, a good investment, a big investment. But we are happy with this experience, and we'll see in the future what can we do more in India, in different areas, because as I mentioned before, the Visible Group is diversified, so we can be in different business areas. About the future, let's see now. This is the present. Let's see now the future. Well, one of the ideas we have with an Indian group is to build a factory here in Portugal to produce fiber optic cables. That's, in my opinion, a good opportunity because, as I said before, the investment in this area, it's big. We work with the main operators in Europe. We have open doors. So to have a factory here can be a good business at this moment. So we are discussing it. We didn't start, but we are discussing can be a good opportunity here in Europe and mainly here in Portugal to have a fiber optic factory. That's one of the points. Another point that I think could be very interesting for the future, creating our partnership or potential partnership with Indian groups, can be telecommunications in Europe. Why? Because the investment, I'm repeating, is big, and there is a lack of capacity, a lack of human resources, technicians, and that. So one opportunity, and I'm talking with some potential partners, but everything is open. A good opportunity could be have some partnership here in Europe to do this kind of work. Well, it is the design, it is the construction, and it is the maintenance of telecommunications network. So we are completely open to discuss, to have partnerships here, to work together, for instance, in France, for instance, in Germany, in UK, Belgium, that's where we are, because there's a need. And really, I'm completely open to analyze potential partnerships here in Europe with this aim, with this objective. So that's more or less it. That's more or less what I'd like to tell you now. It's a pity that I'm taping this. It's a pity we are not real, we're not alive, and can make questions and have answers and have a dialogue that would be much more nicer. But that's our time now. Let's hope that this will be better in a very, very near future. So thank you very much for your time. Thank you very much for hearing me. I hope we can meet some of these days. Thank you. Bye-bye.
We are very grateful for João, who did not want to miss the event, even though he was he could not possibly attend at this time. So we are going to be, as we come to the end of our event, we have one final person to listen to with a very short message, but a very heartfelt message. We're going to hear from the founder of the She Economy and the founder and president of the Women's India Chamber of Commerce and Industry, WICCI, of course, and the Women's Economic Forum. Dr. Harbin Arora, who could not be with us, sent us a message today. It is taped on a mobile phone, so it hasn't got very high quality, but we can see what happens.
Hello, dear soul sisters. A happy International Women's Day to all of you. I'm so happy that you're organizing the Portugal-India Business Summit as part of the Women's Indian Chamber of Commerce and Industry and the Portugal-India Business Council, led by my dear soul sister Marianela Mirpuri, along with soul sister Sangeeta, and such an amazing team of council members, each one of you so inspiring. I wish we were in times where we could actually meet each other, see each other, and connect one-to-one. But I hope now, with things changing across the world with the vaccine and a revival of sentiment and spirits, which you are contributing to doing, I hope you can bring a delegation to India, and we can bring a delegation to Portugal, and we can meet and ensure that women's She Economy, which is women's business-to-business connections, business-to-business collaborations, can thrive. In these past times, we have launched actually the She Economy platform. It is a free digital e-commerce platform for women-owned businesses, both in goods and services. As we know, there are a lot of women doing a lot of things, but we have to find each other. We have to find across the world, where are the women who are doing things that I might need, which is empowering and tapping into the She Economy. So the She Economy is translating our global network of 250,000 women across 120 countries into a global marketplace, I encourage you to visit www.sheeconomy.in, that's SHECONOMY.in, and upload your businesses, your products, your services. It's completely free of cost. There's no charge to upload. If you transact over there, there's no charge to transact. And have a look at it. And we look forward to your ideas, your inputs, your feedback on how we can make it better and how we can boost the she economy. I know my dear soul sister Marianela is also doing wonderful work towards uniting the women of the world. That's what we are doing as well, creating a worldwide web of women across the world. And you are part of it, part of the WICCI family, which has over 100 councils, bilateral business councils across the world that you can tap into for whatever you need. And then we have national councils across 156 sectors and state councils in those sectors. So anything that you need across different sectors, you can let us know, and we'll be happy to connect you to your counterpart sisters across the world and in India. So congratulations, dear sisters. Hope to meet you all soon. All the best. Looking forward.
Okay. That was the great ending message, which I think we all needed to hear, put into words. Now, before we finish, I'm going to pass the microphone to our president, and then she's going to give you pure emotion. We're going to close with pure emotion. But I must say something. I must teach you something before I pass to Marianela, our president. I must tell you that you will be hearing Fado. Now, Fado, I'm not going to say anything about it because Marianela will introduce it, but I have to teach you. You do not listen to Fado with your ears, okay? Fado is nothing to do with the ears. Fado is to do with the heart and emotion. You have to close your eyes and let it enter through your ears, into your brain, fall down to your heart, and then explode all over your mind, your energy. Fado is about passion. Fado is about commitment. Fado is about love. It's about longing. It's about desire. If you don't listen to it with your heart and with your eyes closed, you miss the best part of it. So watch a little bit of the video, but don't forget to listen with your heart. And I'm going to pass the floor to Marianela. Thank you very much for giving me the honor to host you today. It's my honor to be a member of the board, and I hope that we meet again very, very soon in another event. So stay safe, stay well, and blessings to you all. Marianela.
Blessings to you too, Linda. Looks like we come to the end of this forum. I sincerely hope you enjoyed it. Personally, I have learned many things. I think it was really, really very educating forum. I must thank also to all those who made this possible. First, to my WICCI board, all these amazing ladies from all over the world that are together with me. A special thank, of course, to you, Linda, is one of our board members and their company, CPL Events. So thank you, Linda, and your team, Ruth, and all the others that were in the organization of this event. Thank you to all the speakers invited. I have loved to listen to each one of you. Thank you to the moderators, Laleh Hancock and Alexandra Bonte. Thank you to the Vice President Sangeet Ahir, who offered the cultural moment